Good morning to all of you. Today for my social web we want to share a Python script that will allow you from a list of keywords classify and obtain their search intent and the user's top in the funnel. To do this, here is an example. You can see that we have three columns. In the first one we have the list of keywords, for example creatine growth, Sunuka table, and then we have its intention, which is informational, transactional, etc., and the stage of the funnel in which it is, for example discovery, conversion. So to do this we're going to use Google Colab. Google Colab is a Google tool that allows us to run code in the cloud, in this case Python code, which is a very simple programming language and is basically the standard within the industry for this type of task. So if you are newbies, you are going to learn something, as it is very easy to use. You will see that you only need to include some data. Everything is already programmed, and if you are more advanced users, you can modify it to your liking. This is a script generated by Alvaro Peña. You can modify it, improve it, share it, and you have it all commented. What you see here in green are comments and are preceded by a hash. This is not code, it is simply for you to read it, so that you can understand it. As you can see, everything is well detailed. If you still have questions, you can contact us on Twitter or in the comments of this video, and we will try to see them and solve them. Okay, what are you going to need to work with this? You're going to need an OpenAI key, since we're going to use GPT-3 to do the ranking, and you're going to need a list of keywords. Here's an example. You simply need a CSV file called keyword. This is important. The file has to be called keyword CSV because this is what we are going to call inside the code. You can change it, modify it, and give it another name, but you will have to modify the code. Here is the example on line 14. Make sure that this is correct or else you will get errors. And then, inside the keyword CSV document, you need the first row to have only one column, which is going to be your keyword list. The first row has to be the header. It has to be the header, which is going to be called keyword. Same case, it has to be this name, because down below we are going to look for the keywords field inside the CSV. So make sure that they match and will not give you errors. Most of the basic errors in this type of scripts are due to mistakes in naming things, or typos, so do not break your head and make sure that everything is correct. Under the keywords heading, you simply include your entire list of keywords. Here you can make an export from any of your favorite tools, or you can add manually. And now I'm going to explain the code step by step. For the old timers, this simply runs your CSV and it will run an optimized prompt to sort the keywords, and then it will do and then it's going to do a series of cleanups to give you the correct formatting. And now for the more novice, I'm going to walk you through step by step what it does. Colab executes all the commands by cells. Here you see these text elements are separated from these down here. All of them have above in the upper left corner a play in which we execute the code, and you see that the rows are numbered. The code is executed from top to bottom. In this first cell we would give to play. And here, whenever you access a Colab that you have not created, I will inform you that this has not been created by Google. In this case, it's been created by iSocialWeb, and it can allow you to run it. Or you can cancel and copy it to your Google Drive. You can run it from this button by listening to the file and saving it to Google Drive. This will allow you to have your own Colab and save the changes that are executed. Here you can run it without problems, but if you make any changes, they will not be saved as far as I have kept in mind. Once you run the first cell and the dependencies are ready, you can go to the second cell. Here what we are going to do is to import a library that allows us to upload files and upload our file. Here is where you have to select the keyword CSV that you have created. Next we'll import a series of libraries that will also allow us to run the code below. And then we will read our CSV to a data iframe. A data iframe is a file type within a variable type within Python that allows us to use the pandas library. You will see this very commonly. You should be used to it by now. It allows us to manipulate CSVs and structured data more conveniently. Next, and this is the only point you will have to change. You will have to enter your OpenAI API. This is private, do not share it, and it is what allows you to spend credits within your API and generate content. Next, we will do some management and structuring tasks so that our code runs perfectly. We are going to make a keywords counter and an index. This will allow us to Send the requests in batches, and instead of making, if we have 100 keywords, make 100 requests to OpenAI, make a block of 100 keywords in the same request and save a lot of credits. Then we count the number of keywords so that we don't go overboard in the iteration of the keywords, and we are going to create 3 lists. The first list is the keywords we have. The second is the search intention of the same, and the third is the stage of the funnel, the stage in which they are. Then we are going to, from lines 35 to almost the end up to 75, we are going to iterate through all our keywords, making batches and looking for their intent. To do this, we are going to create a batch of up to 100 keywords. We are going to separate each keyword by this separator. This is very common when you see OpenAI prompts. This will allow you, it is a line break, and what it will allow is to differentiate each keyword from the same one, from the different ones. And then you have the prompt that we are going to send to OpenAI. This is the key of everything, and here I have copied it to a document to see it in its entirety since it is something long. Then we are going to make GPT-3. We are going to ask it for the following list of words, and here we will paste our list of words. You see that we leave 2 spaces, 2 line breaks to clearly differentiate the listing. And here we will include our batch of keywords, all separated by a line break, another 2 line breaks to separate well the listing. And we will tell it to return for each of the keywords the search intent, informational, transactional or navigational, and the stage of the conversion funnel, discovery, consideration or conversion. There will be 1 word per line with the format keyword, intent stage separated by a vertical bar. If we go back to our code, we see that we selected DaVinci 3. We increase the number of tokens to 1500 as the list can be large, and we maintain a temperature of 0. 7. With these values you can play, especially with the temperature 0. 7, it works quite well. And just as you can play with these values, you can play with the prompt. Even so, I would not change the format since you would have to modify the code. That is, this format is what we are going to use to generate our categorized export, so don't change it. Categorized export, so don't change it. You can try to modify the number of search intentions or the conversion phases, but in this case I would not touch it. If we don't know very well what we are doing, if you control the subject, no problem. This is for experimenting. Once you make the prompt, we are going to execute the prompt. And then we are going to format it. This is basically separating out the keywords, the different elements that we've asked for. Here keyword, intent and stage, from their vertical bar. And the substrings, we're going to be cleaning them up, and we're going to be adding them to our listings. The command append, what it does is it adds to the end of the list those that we have been catching. That is to say, we have our list of keywords, intentions, and stages that we have created above here, and that are empty. Little by little we will add them one by one, so each one of the intentions, keywords, and stages. Here we are going to pull in the block. We are going to tell it to catch the next 100, and finally we are going to create another data frame with all this data. And here we would have the final table. Once you have done this, you can download it, pass it to CSV, and save it as you want. So with all this, you would have a complete classification simply with 2 clicks. What it takes to install the dependencies, what it takes is to put your API of OpenAI API, and what it takes is to click on this second code. This runs pretty fast. And thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any doubt, we are here. Best regards.